Right, don't be weird.
Not weird. Not weird. Hello, and welcome back to Good Matters, a show about businesses that are making the world better and how to create them. I'm Rachel Parker Chavez, and for this episode, I had the pleasure of sitting down with someone whose social impact ventures span a wide range. Not only is she a certified public accountant with vast financial knowledge, she's also the founder of 2 different social enterprises, as well as an author of a book on socially conscious business. Somya Munjal, founder of CPA for the People, Youthful Savings, and Audacious Endeavors. Somya is passionate about money management as a tool to live life fully and is committed to educating people about their finances. She works extensively on economic empowerment and wealth gap disruption through 3 social enterprises. Youthful Savings, which seeks to empower the next generation with financial education products and entrepreneurship training. CPA for the People, a growing team of do-good financiers that seek to empower all with financial knowledge, and through Audacious Endeavors, a social change agency dedicated to solving the world's most pressing issues. Somya's debut book of the same name, Audacious Endeavors, is a step-by-step guide on how to align your soul's mission with the new economy through socially conscious business practices. So tell us a little bit about how you've merged your financial CPA background and your social impact side of things.
Yeah, so I have a background of working in big accounting firms, investment banks. Before I left working for somebody and going into working for myself, I worked for an asset management company. It's kind of like a hedge fund, but there was a hedge fund within an asset management company. And so I just realized how necessary it was to understand the economy and understand resources in order to help people. So for me, finance and the financial knowledge and financial resources, and if you manage them correctly, like you can do so much more to solve world problems. So for me, it's just like money is just energy to distribute and make the world a better place. And so somewhere, I don't think that maybe is the vibe that money gets. But I would, yeah, unfortunately, but money's cool. Like I just think that how people view it and how people transact with it could use some, goodness. And so my goal with the book Audacious Endeavors was to inspire that. And so I just, me working with the children, like I always ask them like, what's your relationship with money? And they're like, oh, I get to pay things. And they don't have like any sort of greed associated with money, but something happens between children and adults that just like, there's this greed that occurs. And so I'm very dedicated to making sure that we have like a fair economy and we have equitable situations happening in this world, and maybe starting with America first and then expanding to the world is really important to me. So this is my passion, and I think having a finance background and being in the finance industry just gives me a little bit of a leg up because I just understand how money operates, and so it's my job just to make it more fair, and I take that very seriously.
Yeah. Could you speak a little bit to the kind of top level things people should be looking out for, social entrepreneurs specifically should be looking out for when they're starting their businesses?
The world isn't necessarily ready for social entrepreneurship yet. It's a new wave of thinking. So just being around the right people is important because there is still this whole other vibe of it's all about making money. So there was this fund that we had presented Youthful Savings to out in New York, and they're like, if in your financials you are giving a percentage away to something, we don't even want to talk to you, because that's just taking away from profit, that's taking away from what we could get as a return on investment from us giving you investment. So you just have to be very careful like who you're talking to. So Youthful Savings had signed a $2 million deal with a hedge fund on Wall Street, and I was super pumped about it. And just like realizing all the hard work I did to make this program as authentic as possible and really striving towards the mission of guiding the youth like effectively, I quickly realized that this was gonna like totally go away had this term sheet actually been implemented. So I luckily was able to get out of it before, and they sort of agreed with me with where I was. Yeah, the $2 million deal, which would have given up like I think 30% of my business and possibly even more. But for me, it was just like it's not worth losing this thing that I built. It's really like having a long-term view in things. You have to be very careful how you take the money that comes into your business. I'm super lucky we ended up getting angel investment the term sheet that we ended up doing was it was just a loan. So he gets revenue shares back, and then he gets profit sharing for life. And the profit sharing changes once the loan is paid off.
Can you break that down a little bit more for people who are thinking about taking investment? Obviously, what you said is traditional kind of VC funding can be a little bit risky. And why is that?
It can be risky because your values of why you started the business might not be the same values as the VC. So, and hedge funds also invest in businesses. It can be part of the fund. So it just depends how strongly you feel about the business. So some people, and I work with a lot of different businesses, some people are like, I just want to build this thing, I want to sell it, we all win. Everybody has a different vision. So if you're, for me, Youthful Savings is not going to get sold anytime soon, right? So I am in it for the long run. I would like to run it if I don't want to get fired from my own business. So I just think that you need to really do a deep assessment of what your vision is for this business, and if that vision matches who's giving you money. Again, it's the valuation, right? So it's as deep as what do you value? So all of a sudden, like taking short-term money increases your valuation of a company, but like it can also take away the mission. It can also take away the values of your business.
But yeah, it's got to be hard to say no when you have this dream in front of you that can be funded with this money, but at what cost?
Right. Spend a lot of time too with the people that you're going to get quote unquote into bed with. That's also really important because by me spending time and picking up people's vibes, I was able to be like, this isn't going to work. And I know so many people that get fired from the own companies that they start because of their investors and their board. Right. So, and me having an audacious personality, I am aware that me getting fired is pretty easy. So I was, I was very vigilant about making sure that, I was not going to do that. That wasn't going to happen.
I love how you're talking about
that. Yeah.
I'm more than one occasion.
Yeah, it happens quite a bit.
And I really enjoyed that part of it because I think a lot of times you read things and you can tell they're kind of trying to get their opinion across with also being kind of like sugarcoating it. And you don't do that. It's really good. No, it's really good.
I didn't get that gene. I don't eat a lot of sugar. But, also like I get to spend a lot of time with children who come pure, And so I also very lucky that my mom was always wanting me to express myself for who I really am. And we were always allowed to do that at home. I don't know how everybody else grows up. But I think us being more authentic will take us really far.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think it starts with youth, like you said. Totally. Can you talk a little bit more about Youthful Savings and like what that looks like?
Sure. So Youthful Savings is my baby. So basically, it's an education technology company. We have 2 different curriculums that we administer. One is my own business challenge. So we teach kids at a young age how to start a business. Whoever saves the most into a bank account and also delivers their business with the most kindness gets 10% back from us and added in business investment. We sell this programming to schools, so we're all across the nation. Public and charter schools are really trying to target at-risk schools. We're lucky enough to do a program right now in the city of Santa Monica, so super pumped about that. We have another curriculum called Handle Your Business, so that's really targeted for high school kids and really getting them to understand like what it is they want to do when they grow up. How are they going to pay for college? Does it make sense for the college that they're going to?
So what would you say to them, or how do you guide them when it comes to financial investing, how they're spending their money in business? What would you say to not just them, but any social entrepreneurs who are just in the idea stage or just starting out?
For me, I just think that we need to really start making decisions based upon how it's going to affect generations from now, which is how like the indigenous people did things. And so I'm really focused on like long-term thinking in businesses, and that's what I'm trying to teach the kids. So what we do with the kids is that they too need money in order to start their businesses because they're doing all kinds of things. And so we have an investment pitch day where they get a little bit of money from us, and then they work on how to ask for money. They also, within the web application, can track how they're getting that money, whether it's through equity, whether it's through a loan, whether it's a gift. So they're learning those things as well. Just really understanding it. Having somebody to talk to about it is really important. Somebody that's credible is really important. So I just think having a good network of people is, and I was actually really lucky because my first client in New York was a startup, and so the CEO of the startup was like, listen, as you get term sheets, make sure that you talk to me first. So being open to getting help is really also very important. Like, don't, just because you're an entrepreneur and you think you can do everything, like that's just not true. So, right? So the more people that you have around you that are willing to help you is really good.
Yeah. Who are the people that social entrepreneur? Like say I'm starting from scratch, I don't know who to even go talk to.
Yeah.
I have this opportunity. Who are the people I should be speaking to?
So obviously I'm a CPA. I actually, there's a lot of CPAs I know. I think that we're pretty cut and dry people. I think it's worth talking to your accountant about it because they see the whole picture of you. And they also understand finance. So I think it's helpful to talk to somebody that's maybe a little bit more objective and can see things that perhaps you can't see and maybe isn't really gaining anything by you getting this or not getting this, because a CPA is always going to be concerned with cash flow as well. So I think a term sheet really is like there's key terms that is important, like the percentage of equity that's being given, whether you're going to take out debt or if it's convertible notes or it's just a straight up loan. So there's just those things. You should probably get educated on that. And there's like other communities out there, and maybe in the social entrepreneurship field, there just isn't enough finance knowledge, which is something that the school that I graduated from actually just started a social entrepreneurship program, and I really pushed them to do more finance in there because that might be the problem actually, is that we don't do that enough. It ends up being like a bunch of feel good people that, there's like a sense of like realness here, like you do need to pay your bills. But if you don't know that, then just seek it out, and you can find it. But I think an accountant's not a bad person to talk to.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm biased, but I tend to like the cut and dry attitude of a CPA,
Yeah.
and that's what attracted me to the profession.
Is there anything that you would say are common mistakes that you see, or when social entrepreneurs maybe come to you and you're like, oh, I wish you would have not done this?
Yeah, so I see a lot of business owners, the common mistakes being people just have like egos, or they just can't take advice, or they're not open to the advice. And it's like, well, if you're paying somebody for something, like they're not, like my job is to help you the best that I can. And I just think that's a concern that I sometimes have. And there's like people that I can think of that, just took things too personally. When it's just like, listen, we just want your business to be successful. And I can't, if some things don't come to you naturally, doesn't necessarily mean that like you shouldn't still learn from them. So for me, like I help a lot of women, and I think that, it's our job as women to really understand finance, and we have to understand a balance sheet. And I remember reading this article when I was going to college about how necessary it was for women to understand like a balance sheet and a financial statement. Like understand that, that's the language of business. And so I just sometimes get frustrated as like a servant of humans, really, is them just not being more open to like learning new things, or being okay with the fact that someone might know something that you don't know, right? And so that's really important too, because like I don't know everything, and there's things that that I don't know, but allow me to like serve you with the things that I do know.
Yeah, I love this, and it kind of speaks to what you were just talking about. You say, change happens when we realize we are capable of it, that we have the power to overcome a bad situation and make it better, not only for ourselves, but for others. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like changing, being capable of change, and like when you, especially with the youth, like how do you really instill that idea of being capable of change? And
so for the youth, for me, like I love being able to go into a classroom, and I hope I can always do that for the rest of my life. We focus a lot on empowerment versus power. So I'm trying to be like, listen, I know as children, you're like going into a house and it seems like you're being told what to do all the time. But the thing is like the stronger that you become, you're actually becoming empowered, and then you have an ability to teach other people to also be strong. Like mentally, physically, emotionally, kind of stuff. So, so Youthful Savings particularly works a lot on like emotional and financial, and it's part of our mission. So we're kind of mixing the two together.
Yeah, I love that. Another piece that I really love is in the last chapter, Become Infinite. You talk about living an inspired life. And specifically about squashing negativity. Do you have any advice on that, of how people can do that well?
So for me, it's like, just because somebody else has something or somebody else has a journey, they're not taking anything away from you. All you need to do is ask them how they got there, and what can you do to also get there, right? That's really all it is. So it's just like shifting division, hate, jealousy, all that negative stuff and really just focusing on being empowered and being knowledgeable, and then also understanding that you have the ability to take action and make your life a better place. So this book is really about people taking action within their own life to then make the world a better place. So it comes from a deeper place because I went through some things with that. So I'm always very concerned about jealousy and just like people that see you win, that aren't happy for you. Like, it's really important to be happy for each other when other people have successes. And I just think as a society, we maybe just don't do that enough. And I think it kind of starts at home a little bit. So for me, being able to go into classrooms and just telling them that every single person's valuable, and if somebody is winning our challenge, doesn't necessarily mean that you can't continue your business and win as well in the future. Just learn from each other. So really focusing on giving people the ability to understand that empowerment really is you having the ability to learn and get better every day. I'm hoping would take away like some of the negative emotions that are happening.
Right. Not that it has to be one or the other. If someone's succeeding, doesn't mean you're failing.
Right.
There's room for multiple people to succeed.
100%. Yeah. And so we really, in this book, talk about like win-win versus win-lose. And so also like businesses just need to be more win-win. So this whole competitiveness is something that I am not about. I'm much more about collaboration. And when I sense that sort of thing, I have to step away because I have like such a strong mission to make the kids stronger. So to me, it's just something it's really important.
Yeah. Is there anything you would have liked to know when you first started that you didn't?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard work. I'm super fortunate. So I have a really good support system with my family. And so just like my poor family goes through a lot. I guess I didn't realize how much you really need support in life, right? And so being an entrepreneur, you're sort of this independent human being, right? And you're like, I can do this, and you're audacious, and you're like, I'm gonna create something new for the world, but it's hard. And so if you're lucky enough to have people around you that truly support you and wanna see you win, like that's so important. And if you have those people, like nurture that and make time for that. 'Cause that's another thing that's hard for me is I don't always make time for relationships that are personal and not like paying me. So I'm beginning to realize like how incredibly important it is to have like a strong like friend group and a family group that like genuinely just is really happy for you when things are going well, and you can be there for them when they need you, and like that's super important.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a lot of exciting things going on.
Yeah.
So could you share a little bit? I mean, we have the book, so maybe the book and then your launches with the artists and all of that. I'd love to hear about that. Yeah, tell us about that.
Basically, CPA for the People got started in the Lower East Side of New York, where the emerging art scene is really big. And so I was just their tax accountant. I was like, dude, you guys need money. That's like, I've always been a salesperson as well. So I'm like, you need to sell your art. Like that's something that needs to happen. So Audacious Endeavors is actually part art advisory, but with a cause. So we give a percentage to various different giving partners that are 501c3s. So if you buy a piece of art, a percentage goes to the giving partner, and then a bigger percentage goes to the artist. So just really trying to build economic opportunities and like social good is really important to us. That's the newest business that got started in like May. So yeah, I'm really pumped about that. And that kind of like brings everything home, which is economic empowerment and really celebrating artists.
Yeah. Are you going to have more of those events?
Yes,
How can people
do a Chicago one at a charter school? And so then we're going to give part of the art sales to fund a scholarship for the kids. So we're kind of excited about that, or very excited about that. But yeah, it's hard work to plan these things. But yeah, Chicago's next up. I'm from Chicago. The book talks a lot about Chicago.
Yeah.
We do really want to make Chicago a stronger city. So CPA for the People has offices in New York, Chicago, and in Santa Monica. So, we're really focused on being good community members and making sure that we give back. So all of our giving partners through Audacious Endeavors are within that community. Yeah.
So how can people, if they want to find these events or just connect with you or any of your businesses, how can they do that?
Yeah, so if you want to get to know us a little bit better, visit our website, so youthfulsavings.com, audaciousendeavors.com, which is also the name of the book, and CPA for the People. And so they're all, CPA for the People is not on social media, but Youthful Savings and Audacious Endeavors is, and they are the ones that hold events.
Perfect, okay. And if they want to buy the book?
Yeah, so Amazon's the best place to go. Audacious Endeavors, and it's a labor of love, so I hope you enjoy it. I think we gotta change the world, dude. We gotta make social entrepreneurship the new way to conduct business. And we just gotta stop being greedy. Yeah. Yeah, it's time.
There you have it. Isn't Somya a great mix of financial smarts and social good heart? I just love how she's bringing them together to create economic empowerment for so many people. So good. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to send them my way. If you like this episode, especially if you know of other people who are also using business for good, please share it with them. And don't miss a thing by signing up for Defining Good updates, tools, and free resources on defininggood.com. Remember, you have a unique voice and a distinct circle of influence. So you can choose to ignore it, or you can use it to change the world. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. An exciting thing, so maybe we'll wait for the sirens to pass.